Hello, my name is Nikki Rutter. I am from Durham University and I am here to talk to you today about our Hedgehog Friendly Campus campaign. So Durham University has achieved bronze accreditation as a hedgehog friendly campus. We achieved that in the year 2020 to 2021. We are currently working towards our silver accreditation, and next year we will be aiming for gold. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is what we did to achieve bronze, what we're working towards at the moment for silver, and what we can do next year to aim for gold. So universities achieve their accreditation in the following way. The first thing you have to do is see what is required. What is required to make your campus hedgehog friendly? Bronze criteria, silver criteria, and gold criteria. So the first thing you need to do is actually complete a gap analysis. What is it that the university is doing already? And at Durham we do a lot, and we've done a lot for a long time. So I had a look through what was the bronze criteria and could immediately tick off requirements, steps that needed to be taken, because we were already doing them. Your university likely will be doing them too. So I completed a gap analysis. What were we already doing? What could already be ticked off? And what were we missing? So as you go through the different levels, bronze, silver and gold, there are micro level steps, bronze, meso level steps, silver, and macro level steps in gold that you need to take to protect hedgehogs, raise awareness, and the levels reflect that. Each level takes 12 months and you cannot skip a step. So we had to start at bronze, and we had to work on bronze for 12 months. We couldn't do bronze and silver simultaneously, and similarly, although we were already doing lots of silver steps, we couldn't jump straight to silver. You have to start with bronze. So bronze, what did we have to do? So we had to achieve at least 10 bronze criteria or initiatives. These are the micro steps, so little hedgehog steps. This is all about awareness raising at this. The micro steps are about awareness raising of the campaign and of hedgehogs on campus. So we started out with a working group. So I'm Durham University's hedgehog champion. All that means is I can call myself the champion, but ultimately it means that I'm the port of call for the national campaign. So Jo at the national campaign, if she wants to talk about hedgehogs in Durham, she comes to me. It doesn't mean that I do the majority of the work. I definitely don't. It doesn't mean that I'm kind of pushing it forward. It just means that I'm the port of call. I'm the person that speaks the national campaign, and I help coordinate it slightly at the lower levels. So the working group for us consists of people from throughout the university. We have students on the working group. We have staff on the working group, we have college representatives, ecological representatives, and what we call our green space team, which is a wider team around the estates, around biodiversity, around what the university is doing to be more ecologically friendly. So getting a working group started with representatives from throughout the university is key. It is so much easier if you have people from lots of different aspects of the university involved in the working group. They bring lots of different perspectives, lots of different pieces of knowledge. As a student, because I'm a student at Durham, it would be very, very difficult for me to know who to talk to, how to coordinate this, where to go to learn more about aspects of the university, such as have people received certain training, have the estates team got hedgehog stickers on their streamers to remind them that there are hedgehogs on the estate, and we need to be careful when we're streaming because of streaming injuries. I can't be responsible for those kinds of things, so it's really helpful to have someone at that level engaged with the project, saying, oh yes, absolutely, this is what we've already done. And similarly, I engaged people from what's called BIA, which is a research group we have around the environment and ecology. So we have 2 members from there who are really knowledgeable around the environment, around biodiversity, around what we can do practically to support hedgehogs. It's really, really good, as with any kind of working group, to have a whole range of skills and knowledge, really. So absolutely, hedgehog working group is key, and the stronger your working group from the beginning, the easier it is to work up through all the different steps as well. So awareness raising, we have a Instagram, a Facebook and a Twitter account. Please follow us. This is one of the initiatives that are required at bronze level. It's much easier to raise awareness of the campaign in the university. If you have social media, you can put out a post about what the most recent campaigns are, get people to share them. Durham is a collegiate university, so most people live in colleges as undergraduates to start out with, but everybody as a student is assigned a college, so everybody has those links to a college as a student, which really helps raise awareness. When you've linked up with the colleges, you can share an event, they then share the events, and then it gets to more students. So social media accounts are the fastest way, the most effective way, and it's a really good way to engage students as well. So as well as having social media, we've had 2 students write blogs about the campaign. We've had a magazine article written about the campaign. So it's all about awareness raising. And that's a really good way to get students engaged as well, because you're then getting feedback about how are they feeling about the campaign, what are they thinking about the project itself, how do they think it's running. You're raising awareness, you're getting feedback, and you then kind of know what steps you need to take to improve engagement or perhaps adapt the campaign so it's more engaging and more interesting to your student population. So what hedgehogs? You can't really be protecting the hedgehogs if you have no idea if you've got hedgehogs on campus. So for the bronze campaign, we were able to do a garden survey. Because of COVID, we weren't able to do a full campus survey. So what we did instead was the Hedgehog Friendly Campus National Campaign ran garden survey training for us. So anywhere, it didn't matter where they were living in the UK at the time, they could go on Eventbrite. We use Eventbrite a lot for our bookings. Go on Eventbrite, book the training. They would then be sent a pack with charcoal powder and instructions of how to make a hedgehog tracking tunnel, and people could just put that in their garden to see what hedgehogs they had. And whilst we didn't really expect this to be particularly useful for those wanting to know how many hedgehogs were on site at Durham, we did end up quite surprised by the number of people who were still living in Durham. So we were still able to gauge that there were definitely hedgehogs in Durham, around Durham, and the wider area, of course. But it was a really nice way of getting people active, getting people exploring what do hedgehog prints look like, how can we track them, and it's really, really, really cheap. You're not requiring quite expensive tracking cameras. We do have those through one of our working group members, but it was then a way to get everybody involved in their gardens at home when they weren't able to come into the university and take part face to face, which we're still not able to do until the 17th of May. Hopefully that's around when this will come out. So we did a survey just in gardens and had some really, really lovely responses around where there were hedgehogs and how people found being part of the hedgehog tracking programme. We also joined the big hog-friendly lockdown litter pick challenge. So my giant head is trapping this, but that ran from the 2nd of November to the 18th of December. This was a national challenge. So we took part as Durham. We had members of the staff team, members of students took part in the big hog-friendly lockdown litter pick. This challenge was just pick a bag of litter, take a photo of the bag and send it to myself or the team at Green Space, and then we counted up the bags and submitted them to the competition. Risk assessments always have to take place whenever you're doing activities of this kind. For this, we weren't able to do the activity as a full voluntary activity, so it was done on an individual basis. So whilst we put out recommendations for the risk assessment, this is what you need to do, this is how you can do the litter pick safely, wear gloves, don't loan work, have a litter picker, don't touch sharps, contact your local council, which is how we were able to engage with this, because our risk assessment wasn't allowed to go through to do it as a university activity. So we did it as individuals. We also ran other campaigns. So as part of this litter picking one, some of the volunteers created infographics and activities. So why is it important to do the litter pick challenge? So 50%, that is the rate of hedgehog decline since the year 2000. Now it's slightly different between urban and rural. In rural areas, it's absolutely 50% decline in hedgehogs. In urban areas, it's around 30%. So hedgehogs can actually adapt quite well, but litter itself has had a huge impact on the health and well-being of hedgehogs. You may have seen some of the photographs of reusable masks that can trap hedgehogs. Durham Litter Picking Challenge, so we put in the dates and who could actually take part, how it was a competition and colleges could compete as of themselves if they wished to make it a bit more competitive and encourage more competition, and then what the rules were. Just do your litter pick, photograph and email, and that was the Green Space email address for it, and then our risk assessment for what you need to do as an individual. And our social media gets shared on pretty much everything as well to try and improve that awareness raising of the programme and improve engagement. So we got 91 bags of litter in roughly a 6-week period. We were very, very proud of this. It was verified by the National Hedgehog Friendly Campus team as well. So we had to submit our photographs and how many bags we thought we had. And then the Hedgehog Friendly Campus team said how many bags they thought we had. So we actually came third in the national competition up against 70 universities for that. So I think we did incredibly well. Durham is a relatively new campus to this campaign, so we had done remarkably well, I think, to have come third in the national campaign. So this year we're now working on silver, and what do we have to do to achieve silver? So silver, you have to have bronze accreditation, as I said before, and bronze accreditation lasts 12 months. So if you lapse, then you can't go straight onto silver. You would have to redo your bronze if you have allowed it to lapse over a year. So you have to have bronze accreditation. You don't have to redo it if you're within that 12 months, but you then have to complete at least 7 silver criteria. So you need to have had the 10 bronze and then move on to the 7 silver, and these are the meso steps. So this is looking a little bit more around, you've done that awareness raising. Now, what are the practical things that you're doing to protect hedgehogs in the area? What are you doing as a university that is not just awareness raising, but taking practical steps to support and protect hedgehogs? So you need to improve relationships with the student union. We didn't have a relationship with the student union at all for bronze accreditation, but for silver accreditation, Anna, who is the Student Union Opportunities Officer at Durham, she has joined our working group. and has been an absolute rocket. She just immediately got to work. Anna has led a campaign through the student union specifically around landlords. So Anna contacted all the main Durham landlords to tell them to expect to hear from students. She developed a letter for students to send to their landlords around how can landlords be more hedgehog friendly, what can they be doing, what steps can be taken. There's so much. They ran a Help a Hedgehog campaign itself, which is all about what students can do in their little area of wherever they're living to support hedgehogs. So Anna's work has looked at coordinating directly with registered landlords through the student union, but also then working with the students. If your landlord isn't registered, there are things that you can do directly to help hedgehogs in your residence, in your gardens. Some of the things that you can do that are really helpful to hedgehogs are really, really easy to do. So where are the hedgehogs as well? From the 1st to the 10th of May, during which I'm making this video right now, we are currently engaging in a full campus hedgehog survey. Now the Durham campus is just over 2 kilometres squared. It's about 2.5 kilometres squared. So we're doing our campus survey over 10 days. This overlaps both with Hedgehog Awareness Week, which is the 2nd to the 8th of May every year, and Biodiversity Month at Durham, which is the whole of May. So we've tried to tick 3 boxes in one, I suppose, of working with Durham University's needs around Biodiversity Month, around hedgehog preservation societies, hedgehog awareness, and then the Durham campus campaign itself around doing the survey and seeing where the hedgehogs are. So we are doing 10 surveys at one half of the campus and then 10 surveys in the other half of the campus. So a survey takes roughly 5 days, similar to what we did with the garden survey, but on a much, much bigger scale. We have 17 volunteers across 20 sites. So we're really, really proud of this work. Actually, Durham is incredibly green and incredibly beautiful, but in comparison to some of the other universities, it's quite big. We have a lot of empty space that can be quite difficult to coordinate all of the students and everything. But that's what's happening at the moment. Hopefully we will be able to find out where our hedgehogs are in Durham. That would be great. And also where they're not. So one of the key things in doing hedgehog surveys, it's not just about where are they thriving, show where they're doing well. It's also about where are they struggling, because in a campus like Durham, where it is so green and there is so much there that would be useful for them, there's lots of ponds, there's lots of greenery, there's lots of hedges and trees and logging. So why wouldn't they be thriving? And if we're not finding hedgehogs, then there's a problem, and there's something we need to be focusing on to improve hedgehogs' access to places, improving hedgehogs' access to food, something as simple as putting holes at the bottom of fences and hedges to make sure hedgehogs can travel, because female hedgehogs during the night can travel up to 2 kilometres in one night, and males during the breeding season, which we're just getting into now, they can travel up to 3 kilometres. If we are building fences and walls and creating barriers for hedgehogs, then they're not able to travel. That means they're not able to access food, they're not able to access males and females for breeding, and they don't have a massively long lifespan either. So we just need to be doing whatever we can to encourage it and support hedgehogs in roaming during the evening, so they can access one another, they can access food, they can access water. Save the hedgehogs. So improving the whole environment is really important as well. So as I say, Durham's very green. It's very rural in comparison to some of the other campuses. Whilst it's an urban environment, it's a campus. We are surrounded by a lot of greenery. So Just in the past few weeks, two of our colleges, Van Mildert and Josephine Butler, have both started their wildflower meadows. Now this is hugely brilliant for the hedgehogs, and I'm so excited by the work that's going on. Hedgehogs are called gardeners' friends sometimes. People with allotments love them. Some of our working group members have allotments, and it's why they love hedgehogs so much. And part of that is about they eat centipedes, they eat slugs, they'll eat the things that want to eat what's in your garden, so they're really great. But other than that, they're not particularly helpful for the environment in terms of biodiversity. It's not like bees, which are there pollinating and helping us all. But what they are really, really, really good at is they're indicators. If you have hedgehogs in an area, then it's indicative that your environment is sustainable and helpful to all wildlife, really. So if you don't have hedgehogs, the likelihood is you don't have a lot of things that you need to create a sustainable and ecologically balanced environment. So having the wildflower meadows should include insects, should entice all of those icky bugs that hedgehogs love so much, and hopefully will then encourage more hedgehogs into this environment. So anywhere there is an opportunity to allow wild growth is really, really encouraging for hedgehogs. If you have a space in your garden where you're just going to say, right, in that area, I'm just going to let it grow wild. That's going to be my grow wild corner. That is excellent for hedgehogs. And it's one of the things we can all do that's really small. It's one of the things that Anna has been talking to landlords about. Having a hole at the bottom of your fence and a corner for letting things grow wild and a plate of cat food and a plate of water. That is enough. Those 4 steps are enough a lot of the time to help support hedgehogs in our environment. And it's just those little things at the moment that for part of the silver accreditation we're really, really trying to push and encourage. But some of these campaigns were already going ahead, and it's back to that gap analysis really, is what are we already doing to support hedgehogs, and trying to acknowledge the really great work that's going on in Durham. So gold accreditation is our final piece. It's the last bit that we're doing. It's what we're aiming for next year. Gold is more about those macro steps. So bronze accreditation lasts for 12 months. Bronze accreditation lasts for 12 months, and you need to have started silver within those 12 months. Silver accreditation lasts for 2 years. So within those 2 years, you then need to be starting on to gold. Gold lasts 3 years, and you need to have had bronze, to have had silver, and then get the 5 gold criteria or complete 5 gold initiatives to get your gold accreditation. Now, gold are those macro steps. We've got awareness raising in the bronze. We've got the little steps we can take in the silver. And then in the gold, it's all about policy change. It's about changing the structure of the university and how things are developed and how we look at changing the university so that it recognises the needs of hedgehogs throughout. And these are really big steps, but they're important steps and doable. I think they're all achievable steps, really. So what we did last year is, there's me, with the site manager. Durham has been undertaking lots of infrastructure works. We've had 2 colleges rebuilt onto the site. We've had a new car park built, and a lot of the areas where hedgehogs may have done well, where there was a lot of brambling for them to nest under, where there was ponds, it's been changed so that building could take place, and that's necessary as a site develops. However, that habitat disruption can't really go unchallenged. What I found when I did this site visit was Durham has eco reps and people consulting with site managers around what is good, what isn't so good, what needs to take place to protect the environment and to not prevent the impact, because we can't prevent the impact, but we can reduce the impact. What are the opportunities for growth? What are the access to food and water that hedgehogs will have? Think like a hedgehog. So as you can see under the colas sign here, there are gaps that are big enough for hedgehogs to travel under. If there is fencing put in place, then that needs to be big enough for hedgehogs. Everything about development needs to come with an aspect of what are we doing for the hedgehogs, what are we doing to support the hedgehogs, how might hedgehogs or any other mammal be affected by this. So when it comes to policy changes, you need to have things that are there references to hedgehogs and other mammals. When I looked at the policies that we have in place, there's lots around small mammals, but for this campaign it needs to specifically state hedgehogs. So it could say, for instance, hedgehogs, badgers and other mammals, reducing the impact on hedgehogs and other mammals. It's all about really recognizing that we all have a part to play in protecting hedgehogs, and we all have steps that we can take. One of the requirements of the gold accreditation is to have someone in a high level role, so in an executive level role at the university, to sit on the working group. It's easily done. It's really easy to get one person from the executive section to sit on the working group, because even if they're not that interested in hedgehogs, taking an hour out of their day once a term for one of the working group meetings, which is how often we meet, to hear the work that's been ongoing and to hear what needs to be done next. And sometimes, as we've said, it is those teeny tiny steps that can make a really big difference. So we've got lots of plans for gold, but at the moment we're still working on silver. As I mentioned, we're currently engaging in the Hedgehog Survey. We've got some wonderful work being done by the Student Union. We are going to engage again at the end of this year with more litter picks. We've got wildflower meadows going. We're really progressing as a university, and I hope this has been useful and helpful, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you're interested in learning more about what we've been doing or learning more about hedgehogs. We do organise training through Joe at the Hedgehog Friendly Campus National Campaign. We've done hedgehog first aid, we've done ecology courses, we've done surveying training. There's lots of opportunities really for protecting and supporting hedgehogs in the local area, and thank you so much for your time. Bye.